friends, today let's dive into the new Hunger Games book, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I do want to do just a few quick disclaimers before I actually dive into this video. As you can see, my hair's wet. This is because I have a 2-month-old at home, so my time is really not my own. This is the only chance I've had to film this video. Literally, I've been trying to film this video all day long, and after my shower was the only window that I had. Speaking of the day, today is actually the 17th of May, so I'm filming this a few days before it's actually being posted. Hence, I do not have the book yet, so this is really just predictions and my thoughts. I'm not trying to sneak anything in there. Speaking of, I will be buying the book on the 20th for me, so that's the 19th for a lot of you in the US. However, as I mentioned, I have a 2-month-old, so I probably won't be reading it that quickly. I'll read it as quickly as I can, but it still might take me a while. On that note, please be considerate if you're thinking of posting spoilers on my channel. Bear in mind that I haven't read the book, and a lot of people aren't even getting access to the book until June 19th. Few more disclaimers, but this time they are about the content of the video. I'm going to be using the 2 excerpts that have been posted and the 11-minute read-along of the first chapter, along with all of the posts from the official social media accounts. I will be linking the excerpts and the first chapter in the description box if you want to go read them and listen to them for yourself before watching this video or after watching this video, up to you. I'm just saying this so that you know there will be spoilers about this new book. Kind of ironic, I know, I just talked about like, hey, maybe don't post spoilers, and now I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm using spoilers, but bear with me. What I will not be using for this video, however, is fan-made stuff or information that hasn't actually been confirmed. Right, now onto the video. We know that this book opens on the morning of the reaping of the 10th Hunger Games. We know that these games are a little bit special. They're the first games where the tributes will have mentors, and also the first games where the tributes get interviewed.
Mentor? Yeah. Our mentor is supposed to tell us how to get sponsors and give us advice.
We know that this book is written in the 3rd person, and the first chapter is in Snow's perspective. We know that this book will center around a young President Snow. Snow is 18 years old in this book, and we learn that though he comes from a prestigious family, they're actually very poor. This leads him towards joining the mentor program in the academy, where he will mentor one of the tributes. If he performs well, or I guess if his tribute performs well, he will receive a prize that will help him get into the university, which he believes he needs to get a good degree to get a good job. We learn through these multiple excerpts and posts that Snow lives with his grandmother and his cousin Tigris, who is 3 years older than him.
Tigris, do you remember me? I'm with Plutarch's Underground.
Snow is very close to his teacher. He's actually a teacher's pet, but not only this, he's also a teacher's aide, and his teacher genuinely believes that Snow is destined for great things. We learn that Snow's greatest asset is his wit. He's extremely smart and extremely charismatic. However, we also learn that he has an obsessive side. He will obsess over a problem until he can solve it. This isn't really new. We do see him obsessing over Katniss to the point that he doesn't realize that Plutarch is actually a double agent.
She's become a beacon of hope for the rebellion, and she has to be eliminated.
I agree she should die, but in the right way. At the right time.
However, this obsessiveness is confirmed in this book, and he's actually aware that he has this obsessive nature. We learn that in this book he will develop feelings for the tribute that he mentors, who happens to be the female tribute from District 12. He will start obsessing over finding ways to help her survive. We also learn a lot about the tribute through these multiple excerpts and posts. She's described as being a long shot, a songbird, but also an insult. She captures the attention of the capital and is described as being a tattered butterfly in a sea of moths. We even have a direct quote from her wherein she states that she will fight like all fire to win the games. We learn that she will be challenging Snow in the book. However, by far the most important thing that we know about this tribute is something we actually know about from the initial trilogy. This tribute isn't remembered. Whether she wins these games or not, she's not remembered. She's never brought up. Katniss points out that the first ever victor from District 12 is someone that nobody remembers. I'm going to use these excerpts and what we know about this book to kind of see where things might go. However, where I want them to go and where I think they will go are 2 different places. I'll cover what I would like to see happen first, and then what I think will happen. Personally, I want that this tribute does not survive the Hunger Games. It makes sense. She's described as being a standout tribute, who's special, who's different, so why would she have been forgotten? If she dies, it makes sense that she was forgotten by District 12 because she wasn't a victor. However, I think she should go far enough in the games to give Snow hope that he might actually get his prize to go to the university. Honestly, I think it'd be interesting to see her die in the final battle, so therefore she would come in second in the games, being so close to being the victor. Additionally, I think it'd be very interesting if she was related to Mace Lee Donna, but if she wasn't the original owner of the Mockingjay pin.
Hey, you want to see what I got you today? It's a Mockingjay pin.
Personally, I'd really like it if the pin was made in her memory by one of her family members or friends. Remember I said she's described as being a songbird and a long shot. The long shot description obviously alludes to the fact that she's unlikely to win. It's a long shot for her to be able to win.
Everyone likes an underdog.
I don't.
However, long shot also makes me think of an archer because they shoot things far away, or long shots. The pin therefore could be made in memory of her with the songbird holding the arrow. I don't want that the tribute falls in love with Snow, but I do want him to fall in love with her. This would make for an interesting dynamic. The tribute challenges Snow, maybe even ignoring his advice, while he starts obsessing over how to save her. As part of his obsession, Snow would find a way to convince the game makers to allow sponsors to be a thing.
And you're starving or freezing, some water, a knife, or even some matches can mean the difference between life and death. And those things only come from sponsors.
His idea comes from the fact that she had already captured the attention of the capital citizens, and she was already a crowd favorite.
And to get sponsors, you have to make people like you.
He believes that sponsors would therefore help her survive in the arena, and it's basically the only way he can help her once she's in the arena. I really hope that this book will span over several years, which means we'd see Mags's Hunger Games.
It's beautiful. I saw you volunteer for that young girl.
Remember, Mags wins the 11th Hunger Games, which happens 1 year after this book starts. If we don't see Mags's games in this book, that makes me believe that there will be consecutive books. Mags is a fan favorite character, and fans have been asking to hear more about her Hunger Games since they first discovered her in Catching Fire. It seems very weird to me that Collins would pick the 10th Hunger Games the year before Mags wins, and then she never talks about Mags. Either we'll see Mags's games in this book, or I'm pretty sure there will be another book where we do see Mags. If this book does span over several years though, I think it'd be really interesting to see Snow kill someone for the first time. The idea of this book is watching Snow go from what he believes is the hero of the story to the villain we know he becomes. A big part of that downfall would be him killing someone.
We toasted a glorious era, coming to its bitter end.
Obviously, he'd need motivation to kill someone. If the girl he loves rejects him and then dies in the Hunger Games, that's a pretty big motivating factor. However, additionally, he may be refused entry into the university, the one thing he believes he absolutely needs. So not only is he scorned and then he loses what he believes is the love of his life, but he also loses the opportunity to get a good degree and therefore a good job. This may force Snow to turn to nefarious means to get what he wants. We know he ends up being president, and we know he becomes president at a young age.
Such a young man when he rose to power, such a clever one to keep it.
We also know he becomes president through poisoning everyone around him.
How? You may ask. Did he do it? One word. Poison.
Him not going to the university makes a lot more sense for his backstory. However, as I said earlier, this is what I want to see, but I don't think this is how the book is actually going to happen. I think, being realistic, the tribute's actually probably going to be related to Katniss. This explains the mirror imagery between the two girls. They're both good singers. As I said, they're most likely both archers. I also think it's likely that this tribute will be the first victor from 12. And now, I know what a lot of you are going to say, that Mags is supposedly the first female victor ever to have existed, or that the first victor from 12 was actually a male, or the victor who wins this games is called Griffin Naismith. However, none of these facts are facts, they're all fan-made, they're not canonical. Which means we can't use them to base ourselves for this book. Which means that I do believe that this girl will be the first victor from 12, which creates a little bit of a problem. That problem being that she's the first victor who is then completely forgotten about, even though she was a standout tribute and captured everybody's attention. I'll get back to this in a minute. If this girl is the victor, that gives her and Snow a chance at developing an actual romantic relationship. If they do, I see a very clear way for their relationship to develop and then fall apart. Remember, she needs to have been completely forgotten by the time of Katniss's games. But she's not just forgotten, she's actually dead. It would take a lot for an entire district to forget about their first ever victor. If Snow were to fall in love with her, it's possible that he volunteers to continue mentoring the tributes from District 12. We don't know how long it takes for this mentoring program to stop. If Snow were to continue mentoring the tributes from District 12, that means he returns to District 12 every year for the reaping.
Have you been out there? 10, 11, 12?
Not personally, no.
And I have. Lots of underdogs.
If he returns to District 12 every year, that means he gets to see his girlfriend. This could go on for quite a few years. I see it getting to the point where they actually accidentally have a child together. However, this would coincide with Snow's political career starting up. It would make him realize that he has to stop going to District 12. People are starting to talk. He therefore has to break up with the girl from 12 and stay in the capital. Meanwhile, people in District 12 have also started to talk. They have noticed that the young capitalite Snow from one of the most prestigious families of the capital keeps going to the victor's village. This would disgust a lot of people from District 12 who believe that the capitalites are the worst people on the planet. Not surprising considering the districts rebelled against the capital and the capital punished them with the Hunger Games.
13 districts rebelled against the country that fed them, loved them, protected them.
People would therefore shun this victor for being with someone from the capital. She chose to hide her pregnancy to not be punished even more. However, once her baby is born, she realizes that if anybody finds out that she has a child, they would easily link this child to President Snow. Obviously, this is not great for President Snow, but it's even worse for her. She knows that this child will grow up shunned like she was, and maybe even worse. So she decides to abandon her baby. She leaves it on the doorstep of someone, either a family friend or just a random family she finds in 12. She then decides to kill herself. She's ashamed of what she's done, not just being with Snow, who's from the capital, but making the decision to abandon her child. She's also probably sick of living the isolated life she lives where everybody hates her. Do you remember how I said she'd abandon her baby on the doorstep of some probably random family? I believe that family will be the Everdeens, who decide to give this little baby boy their family name. This boy would grow up to be Mr. Everdeen, Katniss's father. This is how this Victor could be linked to Katniss without Katniss realizing it. This also explains why nobody remembers this Victor. They chose to forget about her because of her actions. My last prediction for this book revolves around Tigress. If stylists are brought into the Hunger Games for the first time this year, which is what I believe will happen, Tigress and her boss will be assigned to District 12. At this point, the Hunger Games are still not seen as a prestigious event. It's not too much of a stretch, therefore, that Tigress's boss decides not to bother working on the tributes. What's the point? It's not really going to bring her any recognition. However, Tigress disagrees and decides to take matters into her own hands. She designs and creates outfits for both tributes from District 12. However, she obviously doesn't have the funds to create anything amazing, so she does her best. But what she does create is different to what all the other stylists have created who, like her boss, probably don't really care. This explains why the tribute is described as being a tattered butterfly in a sea of moths. She stands out and she's different, like a butterfly in a sea of moths. However, she's tattered because her outfit isn't actually the best it could be because it's relatively cheap. I know a lot of you have already been asking me and will be asking after this video, will I be making videos about this new book? I definitely will. However, I'm going to wait for the movie to come out. Yes, Lionsgate, who distributed the first 4 Hunger Games movies, have already confirmed they are working on a movie based on this book. It will be directed by Francis Lawrence, who's the same director who did Catching Fire and The 2 Mockingjays. There isn't a release date for this movie yet, so I can't say when it'll come out or when I'll start making videos. However, I'm waiting for the movie for multiple reasons. First off, as you guys know, I like to use clips from the movies to back up my points in my videos.
Nice shooting, sweetheart.
If there's no movie, I can't use clips. But more importantly, oftentimes the movies give us a different view or a different insight on the story. So I want to wait for the movie because I'm sure it'll give us different points to work on. As I said at the start of the video, please be considerate if you've already read the book and want to post spoilers. Not everybody appreciates having spoilers, and because not everybody even has access to the book yet, you can't really have that many discussions about it. What are your predictions for this new book? Again, if you've read it, maybe don't say what actually happens, but you can theorize about what you would have liked to happen, for example. I'd love to hear what you guys would love to see or don't want to see, so please tell me in the comment section down below. And until next time, happy bubbles! Thanks so much for watching this video, and thank you to my Patreon bubblers for supporting the channel. If you want to see a video of me analysing the first excerpt, you can click on the box on the left, or you can click on the box on the right to see me analyse the second excerpt. Thanks for liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell.